Sama dudes, it's your boy Rogaston here for another Katawa Shoujo video. Today we're gonna continue playing Katawa Shoujo, of course. Like I said before, we're trying to get either Hanako or Lily's route, and here we are on the title screen. Haha. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so the situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. That is a smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Ichan, it looks like we're together again. Yay! Misha leans sideways and Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Like an angel beats. Why am I referencing that? Oh well. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. Yeah, that sounds like something kinda dangerous. What's wrong, Hichan? Oh, Hichan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hichan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right? Ha 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 ha. I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the fact of you can be. The two of you can be. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into a serious mode, smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and probably doesn't care. And simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. We finish off with time to spare, and I decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly the food so far has been subpar. This hints Misha and Shizune arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for fun? Maybe they seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks, the ones with actual box lunches mixed in and chattering, like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels like I'm the only one who can see her, almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied, or is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I've started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? This is a new scenario that I haven't been in with. I'm gonna go talk to Hanako. I still feel bad for making her run away yesterday, so I'd better say something. Hey there, Hanako. Hisao! Well, at least she remembers my name. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. I'm just new here, and I thought I should get to know my classmates. As Hanako looks up at me, I notice her scarring once more. I'm wondering what that is. Like, I've only gone through one route through the game so far, and I'm wondering what her scars are. Like, are they from a fire or something? It's a little bewildering that you can barely notice it from across the room, but it's so noticeable from up close. That's okay. It was my fault. No, that wasn't anyone's fault. It just kinda happened. So, are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door. Yes, Lily. Oh, you mean Lily, the blind girl. Hanako nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disabilities is a fox pass, or the worst kind, or just normal here. I guess that explains why Lily took off after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. Are you two friends? Yes. As if hoping for Lily to appear, she checks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now. No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom? Not really. Hanako's gaze drifts past my shoulder and towards Shizune. Shizune? Hanako nods again. What about her? Don't they get along? Hanako shakes her head clearly. This is something she doesn't want to talk about. It does make a strange sort of sense, Shizune and Lily not getting along so well. Communication between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard enough talking to Shizune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako's so focused on Shizune that I'm the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Hanako spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she moves quickly to the door. Lily. Ah, Hanako, good morning. Is the president here? Yes. Hanako glances over her shoulder at Shizune again, as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's impossible. I suppose we'd best be off then. Lily's sigh and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise an eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of enmity between the two. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I'd ask about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, then they would tell me. It's only my third day here. I should be trying to make friends, not finding out why people are enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that the school's has little feuds, just like my old high school. Even if people are more tolerant of others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? I'm sorry I made you run off yesterday. Oh my, is that Hisao? I didn't realize you were here. It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed about being so frank in front of me. Sorry, Lily, I thought you realized. No, it's alright, Hanako. Hisao, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding. If you say so. I'm still working this place out. Well then, I think you'll find most people here are a lot more forgiving than elsewhere. If you're feeling a little confused, please don't be afraid to ask questions. Sure, I'll remember that. Lily? This music kinda reminds me of the music in the level of Kingdom Hearts the Alice in Wonderland level. Anyway, Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement. I'm sorry, so, but we must be off. Hanako really doesn't look all that comfortable right here right now, and Lily seems to be a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apologies really made any impact. Mind if I accompany you two? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily hums quietly, still smiling. I'm sure that we could accommodate you, can't we, Hanako? She looks at Lily, then at me, and she freezes wide-eyed. Sure. Well then, shall we go? I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looks, but it can't be helped now. Declining after the deal is sealed would only cause confusion and problems. So we leave all three together. Lily walks beside the wall, letting her cane gently tap against it every now and then, and Hanako comes along right beside her, so close that she practically half hugging her as they go. Although it must make her walking that much harder, Lily takes it in stride. As we turn around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little, and my vision briefly goes black. Ouch! And it's Best Girl. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to a perpetrator. The perpetrator, a short girl, bumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Or she does, but they are not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs and shins and feet made with some black metallic and plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Oh man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going, and he just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ouch. I saw that, but there's a stinging pain. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. That's what just happened. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. It seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The route to the room the two use for tea is fairly simple to retrace, being still fresh in my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. Before I can even open my small bag of food, Lily's busying herself with her thermos and tea bags as Hanako's sitting on both of their lunchboxes. So this is what you meant by coming here almost every day. Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, and we end up using this room regularly. After seeing Hanako's reaction to me over the past couple of days, I can understand why that is. A boon, that and Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. I take my seat last after Lily's poured the tea for us and sits down. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil to Misha and Shizune. Even without a voice, Shizune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. So, how are you faring in Yumako, Hisao? You seemed to be flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and then, and being crash-tackled outside my classroom, fine, I guess. You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? For a brief moment, I considered telling Hanako and Lily about my condition, but then I hold it back. I can't tell why, but for some reason I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these two strangers, even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think that they are buying it, but in what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy, they don't press the matter. I guess that is one of the unwritten rules around here. Don't ask, even if people's conditions are obvious. Like Hanako, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things that they don't feel comfortable speaking about, and I think everyone here recognizes that. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the lunch break. Like me, the girls pick up their lunches as efficiently as they set them down. I guess I'd better be off. Are you going out with Hisao? Are you going with Hisao, Hanako? Hanako looks up at me for a second. I can see that she is considering skipping class. Maybe just to avoid walking to the classroom with me. Yes. Sorry about that, just moving my mic. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate, to the point of breaking if looked at the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feeling aside, trying to be as natural as I can. We should hurry then. Class has already started by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod and a farewell as she bends down to take a cane, Hanako and I filing out before her. We walk quickly down the empty halls to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me. So, thank you for sharing lunch with us today. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering the classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, do you really want to go back to class now? Yes. Okay then. I feel like I should say something to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in classes and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. There's definitely something going on here. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. I wonder if it is some form of informal agreement with the staff that it's a perk afforded to the unique students of this school. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Matsuo is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to make wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk and with a bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Matsuo visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in a general slump in his chair. Ikuto? Misha stops in her tracks and looks around closely as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control, right? Yes. but she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So what is it? We need your help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is the stress. Oh yeah, the festival. By the time we get to the festival, then we'll know which route we're taking. She waves a pink slip of paper as she's holding around. So, go get more supplies for the art room. From the art room? What's the problem with that? Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, then there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. To staring at me focusedly with a hard expression as if trying to say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, E-chan. You're really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping, ah! And looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's E-chan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, E-chan? No, I'm not. Is E-chan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Mutulu sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get off the teacher's back. So what do you need? There's a list I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none at the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Aww. Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels on the corners, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big window shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform, with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. And it's Rin! This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me back even more. How did I miss her before? She is sitting in a corner, very still, but I still somehow took her as a part of the furnishing, or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. Staring at her my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. The weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into a silence punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls. I didn't think there would be someone in here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant, I guess it does. But who are you? The girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai Hisao. I'm Nakai Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. You know, it's polite to give your name before asking for someone else's. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kinda bothers me joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is... She seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead. But lunch? School's already over. Well, what word would you use then? This is no word for a meal you eat after lunch. There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste either otherwise. I have curry, it's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I told you I was told to look for things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but it's not getting a word out. I can guess I am good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of the... okay. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if people here could relate, probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, and then, with an overtly contemplative look on her face, she puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head or something in your guts. Would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Erythemia. I think that's how you say that. I'm sorry. I said it more like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you, I collect people in a person with you know, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people. People with different problems. Huh, so you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a serious heart condition. So, do you always eat alone and this late? Or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors, maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. Emmy is best girl. And that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fell silent again as Ren forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double-check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice of you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you were going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleep. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Ren looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Suzuka. You can call me Ren. I feel that our relationship is at the point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make an exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. Ren looks at me hard in the eyes, but then intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times and I can't figure out why a pause like this just pops between us. See you later, Isao. Sleep well, I guess. I quietly back out of the room as I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jumped the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy, it briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as if she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who was in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? It took so long that we had to come check. What's wrong? That's not no good, He-chan. She wags a finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Tardy? I don't know what that was, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, I got things here, was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, He-chan. Who's in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing out her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes away with Shizune's diligence and an attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Ren frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from supposed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello? Yes, hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door and takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello? Mr. Zuko, what do you think you're doing? You are absolutely not permitted to use the school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy, but about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Izune and Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shune taps Misha's shoulder and points at Ren and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's the project going? Will it be done for the festival? Ren looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Suzune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. And we'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Mr. Zuko, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, if I must finish my project before the weekend, there will be a dire consequence if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what there are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint on the floor. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Like this day. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need it? To take it? Away. God, just Rin. I don't understand. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shizune and Misha gone, so he too leave towards the stairwell at their other end. Every 10 or 15 or 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but this way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I shouldn't have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up the lift and lift the can and up and down. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, and then comes back like it was never gone. Suzuki, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs him by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still in the first week, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it will be. It's the same with everything you like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Maybe? No, I mean... He gives me a nasty sort of look when I say that, making me try to take back the word. I mean, I don't know, I'm still trying to get used to the school. I'll promise to try, though. You're not being very convincing, Hisao. Tip number 1, medical professionals are not amused if you take their advice lightly. What's up with him? As if a day or two would make that much of a difference. I didn't do anything at the hospital either. Yeah, okay, sorry. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet the spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Ren, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway. And are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more acute hysteria than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidently to talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Ren's fault. It is that. I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Ren is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Ren keeps looking at me for a while, long hunger, and then she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. The hospital, it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Ren leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come to or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design about the school. The entire wall, made of some kind of bricks, as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still more sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then I was suddenly morning. I think I'm just gonna save here and end the video off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comments if you did. Sorry we didn't even get through a single day in this video, but I mean, we're already at an hour recording. I try to cut things down as much as possible, but this is, there's a lot of important stuff in this game. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Adios.